Welcome back to the only channel on YouTube. Today we're doing a movie review of a movie that I've wanted to see since I first heard about it. Talk to me. I grew up on Raka Raka videos, so when I found out that they released their first actual movie and that it had gotten picked up by A24, I knew I was in for a real treat. I've always had a love-hate relationship with horror, as I never really found any of them to be scary, except for like The Fourth Kind and Blair Witch, both of which I saw when I was 9. And I had already heard some mixed reviews of the movie, so plus it's not like YouTubers have the best reputation when it comes to making their own movies. For those who don't care about my breakdown of the movie and just want to know my score, it's a good movie. I definitely recommend it. There were some parts in it that I didn't really expect. I would probably give it an 8 scared little billies out of 10. The movie just jumps into it right off the bat, which honestly I really appreciate. You should give it a watch, it's really good. That's enough throating. Let's get into the movie. This movie starts with a house party with a guy named Cole frantically looking for his brother, Duncan. We find out Duncan's locked himself in the house owner's bedroom and won't open it. So Cole, obviously dealing with something more than just a missing brother, breaks down the door with no hesitation. Duncan's sitting on the bed with sores and bruises all over him. Cole, now leaving with Duncan, starts to yell at the kids at the party, who are just recording how messed up Duncan is, taking Cole's attention away from Duncan for just a second. A second was all Duncan needed before grabbing a knife and stabbing Cole, freaking everyone at the party out before turning the knife on himself. I feel like this scene really highlights that this movie's not gonna be one to pull its punches. We cut to our main protagonist, Mia. She's at her mother's funeral, where her aunt hints at a possible strained relationship between Mia and her dad, which is confirmed with the next scene, where Mia's father's trying to talk to her when they're interrupted by a phone call from Mia. It's her best friend asking if she can pick her little brother Riley up since she was busy with her new boyfriend. And Mia's kinda ex, Daniel. Mia and Riley are jamming out in the car when they notice a wounded kangaroo on the road. Mia and Riley both decide that it would probably be best to put the kangaroo out of its misery. And right at the end, she stops and says that she can't do it, that somebody else will do it. You know, another person driving by. They get to the house, and after a bit of questionable mounting and a failed attempt to get Jade off of the phone with Daniel, Mia shows Jade a video of these kids getting possessed at a party and wants to go to see if it's real or not. And Jade's just not about it. Mia plays her dead mom trap card, and Jade ultimately says fine, but Daniel's coming. Mia then goes to help Riley with some homework, where we're introduced to Sue, Riley and Jade's mom, who is like Mia's second mom. Well, I guess now she's just her first.
Huh? You going to bed?
You sneaking out?
Why do you always think I'm sneaking out or I'm sleeping around?
Because you only ask if I'm going to bed when you're sneaking out.
I really like this scene because it lets you see that Sue's not going to be one of those horror movie moms that just scream that their kids are crazy and they're seeing things while fucking babies are getting thrown out of their cribs. She's smart and she notices things throughout the movie. I really like how Sue is written. As they're leaving, Riley convinces Jade to let him go, reminding Jade that she left him at the park with no ride earlier that night. Now we're at the party and no one really wants to talk to Mia. She mentions her nickname, Weird Mia. Jade cheers Mia up right before Daniel walks in to greet Mia with a hug. It was mentioned earlier that Mia and Daniel had dated, but never even kissed. Mia said it was for religious reasons, but we will find out that's not really the full truth. We're now introduced to Haley, the homeowner, and Jade's friend. Haley asks Jade why she would even bring Mia, and points out that even while they're talking, not only is she weird, but she's also actively hitting on her boyfriend Daniel as they speak. Jade denies it, and Haley leaves her with that to kind of think about, and goes to get the game started. Well, what they think is a game anyway. Haley's friend and the owner of the hand, Joss, runs them through the rules of what they're about to do. You hold this ceramic hand and you say, talk to me, and the ritual begins. You then say, I let you in, and immediately you're possessed. You're only allowed to hold the hand for 90 seconds before someone's supposed to pull the hand away and blow out the candles, because Haley says,
what happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay.
How she knows this, I have no fucking idea. Eager to show that she's not weird, Mia goes first. She says the first phrase and immediately is face to face with a ghost.
Talk to me.
I was surprised that it jumped into it so instantly, but I thought about if I were a ghost, I probably wouldn't wait for a dramatic effect either. So Mia, terrified of what she just witnessed, lets go of the hand, but with some peer pressure, is coerced into doing it again. She repeats the first step and is now face to face with a different ghost. So this hand kind of acts like a lightning rod for the closest ghost, making every attempt a roulette. She says the second step and is immediately taken over by the second ghost. I knew the handling of the first possession was going to need to kind of really grasp me if I was going to take this movie seriously, and I gotta say, it did not disappoint. Mia starts going batshit crazy, pointing at the wall saying, he's there, who I'm assuming is probably the first ghost Mia spoke to. Then points to Riley saying,
They like you.
Daniel nervously laughs it off when Mia starts barking at Daniel. Joss, who's probably done this a few times, cracks a joke to kind of lighten the mood. Almost like they're hiding their fear with excitement. Kind of like how Daniel reacted with the bark. Ghost Mia focuses in on Riley, saying that he's behind him now.
You'll split you, pretty boy. I'll split ya!
Right as Haley tells Joss time's up, but Joss, being the giant dude he is, cannot pull his hand away from Mia. Mia starts losing her mind, screaming,
Run, 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 run!
This part really freaked me out. It was such a good introduction to the seance. The rules are clear, the hand does what it says it does, and the characters honestly behave like real people. This is pretty much how I would react if I was face to face with something I couldn't even begin to comprehend. With the help of Haley, Joss is finally able to pull the hand from Mia, breaking the link. Mia comes back and with hesitation mentions how cool it was, seeming to downplay her experience in order to keep the room lively, which seems to relieve the group. Everyone except Riley. Little boy's sitting there having Vietnam flashbacks now. Riley can't sleep after being threatened by a literal ghost and tries to sleep in Jade's room, where she says no. Even after what she just witnessed her little brother go through, she's still only worried about getting into Daniel's pants. So Riley heads to the front room where Mia's sleeping.
What a bitch.
And they talk about the hand, but also how her mom died. Mia explains that her mom took too many sleeping pills on accident, and when her dad woke up to go check on her, he couldn't get into the door, eventually breaking the door open, but it was too late, finding scratch marks on the door as if she was trying to get out. Riley falls asleep watching the Sidemen like a true 14-year-old, and Mia reaches over to take his headphones out of his ear when there is another hand right after. We then head to school where Jade and Mia ask Haley if Daniel could use the hand since he didn't get a turn at the party. Haley says Josh's house is a no-go and they need a new place to do it at. Jade offers her house since her mom is leaving later that night. Daniel shows up at the house and Sue answers, immediately assuming that they're trying to throw a party since she's going to be leaving, telling Jade if there's a party, Mia's not allowed to come over to the house ever again. So she heads over to Riley's room and he knows nothing, telling him that he's not allowed to drink at the party. You know, because he's a little child. She finally lets Daniel into the room and she reiterates that Mia's not allowed to come over anymore if there is a party, and also she tells Daniel to keep it in his pants. See, this is why I fuck with Sue. She's not about to get tricked by a bunch of teenagers and a fucking kid. Because like, what kind of parent wouldn't connect these dots, you know? As Joss and Haley set up for Daniel's turn with the hand, they give a little more history about where it came from and what it is, explaining that it was an embalmed hand from a psychic that could connect to the dead. Haley mentions that she heard it was a Satanist hand and the other hand is out there somewhere. So Daniel starts his ritual, obviously freaked out but willing to go on. After a horrific choking bout, a ghost finally takes control and tells Jade,
"He hates it when you touch him. You make him soft."
Yo, this spirit's a cunt.
damn. Ghost Daniel starts to feel himself while looking at Mia, and she starts blushing, which pissed Jade off, obviously. That's how I knew Mia was a fucking weirdo, thinking Haley might have been onto something. Ghost Daniel starts tipping the chair over, where he starts grinding on the floor, and Jade's dog walks in to get in on the action. I don't know why everybody's going crazy for Daniel. Daniel finally has his hand pulled away, not before everybody gets a good laugh, and probably violating a few animal laws. He demands Haley and Joss delete the video, and storms out after they say no. But these kids came to play Ghost in My Shell, so they all start taking turns passing the hand like a paranormal bomb, and you see them getting less and less careful with the usage of the hand. This totally feels like how me and my friends would have reacted if we had a hand that could connect us to the dead. So it really does a good job at building subtle suspense that this is more than just a spiritual landmine. At first I thought the 90-second rule was going to be revealed that it's 90 seconds period, not 90 seconds a time. But instead, Riley asks to go, since everyone got to go, and Jade says flat out no. After a back and forth between Jade, Riley, and now Mia, who's taking Riley's side, Jade storms out of the house. Daniel follows, and Riley takes the opportunity to ask Mia, where she reluctantly says yes, but only if he goes for 50 seconds, and no more. Treating this hand almost like a real drug, because he's smaller, he gets a smaller dose. Now it's Riley's turn, and he's immediately possessed by none other than Mia's dead mother, confirming it's the real deal after calling Mia by her childhood nickname, Me.
I miss you so much, me. I don't want you to hate me.
Immediately I knew Riley was about to get the works, and that he's probably going to end up going over the time limit. That's what I thought was going to happen. At this point, Haley tells Mia that the 50 seconds is up, and Mia is the one to keep the time going because she wants to talk to her mom.
I love you both, baby.
I love you too, Mom.
Something starts to change once Riley starts choking again, then begins bashing his head on a corner of the table and tries ripping his fucking eye out. Jade comes back to the room and the ghost pulls Riley towards the window and turns to face another counter to continue what he was doing. Before Riley gets his fatality off, Jade blocks with her fist. Why she didn't go with a flat hand instead of a fist, Mia, traumatized by the whole incident that she caused, walks out of the room still in shock. Walking past Haley and Joss, who are already getting their alibis lined up. The cops try questioning her, but she's not speaking. Mia's dad tries getting some answers, but it's barely getting any more than the cops were earlier. The only real thing she says is that she knows that her dad's been keeping something from her. Something about her mom. Mia heads to her room after this, and we see she brought the hand with her, with the intention of talking to her mom again. We cut to Mia heading to the hospital Riley's at, but is told by Jade and Sue that she's not welcome, since Sue thinks that Riley was given to something by Mia because of her history with drugs, and to not come around again since Sue told her not to let a party happen. Mia, instead of going home, follows an apparition of her mom heading to the bathroom, where the ghost reenacts her last moments, clawing at the stall. So Mia tries to open the door, but it won't budge, until it finally does. Freaked out by the whole situation, understandably, she runs into the stairway where Daniel sees her and offers her a ride home. Mia convinces Daniel to stay the night since he can't really go home and explain this to his parents, and Mia just doesn't want to be alone after all of what she's been through. We cut to the room, and Mia and Daniel are together on the bed Wait, why is he on the bed? Why wouldn't he just sleep on the floor? Anyway, Mia and Daniel are sleeping, where Mia starts having a wet dream about Danny Boy, as it starts to morph into a nightmare about her mom. Talk about a cocktail. She wakes up and notices something in the corner of the room. And I gotta say, this is some of the creepiest shit I have seen in a long time. You can't really tell that anything's there until it steps out of the shadow. And earlier that night I had smoked a little so I could put myself really in the movie. My eyesight's kind of bad. And if I were Mia, I would have shit and piss and pain. I wouldn't have been able to survive a second of this. I would have had a heart attack immediately. And it gets so much worse when the ghost starts going to town on Daniel's little piggies. And Mia, seeing her dream job get taken right in front of her eyes, starts screaming at Daniel to wake up, as we see that it was actually Mia sucking on his toes. Daniel wakes up horrified and runs the fuck out, sopping toes and all. And Mia, now at her breaking point, decides to use the hand.